Welcome to Quat Mode, round 169, dude. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I'm one of your hosts, Todd Oxtra, living the dream. It's finally cool here. I'm so excited. I had to put on a long sleeve shirt because I'm in the basement and it gets cool down here. But I'm very excited to talk about video games. We got some really cool people, including the Canardian, Mark Carabin, who's got a fresh cut. Check it out if you're watching on the video.
Yep. Haircut, shave, not full shave, but
no
down. It's kind of growing back now.
As far as we can see.
I went down to stubblies.
It's looking good. Looking good.
Thank you. Figured to do something fresh for the summer. Todd, let's rewind back for a second. Did you just say it's finally cool? Mark,
it was 102 degrees Fahrenheit in my town on Saturday.
It's just a Tuesday for us.
It's summer.
Not 102 degrees. I live in freaking Minnesota.
Okay.
We're supposed to be in the 80s in Florida, Arizona, California, Death Valley. All
right.
I don't know.
I'll give that to you. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it to heat up even more than it. Tomorrow is supposed to be quite nice here. So
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. He's very sorry about the heat tomorrow.
He did say tomorrow.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. Happy to be here. Hi, Bacon.
Hello.
Yes, we're welcoming back Xbacongamn from the Nerd Chat. I was thinking about people to invite, and Bacon has been very excited about the Switch 2. I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about the Switch 2 now that we've had it for about 2.5 weeks now. We're played more with the systems, and we're going to talk all about the Switch in the back half of the show. So, Bacon, very excited to have you on. Bacon, do you have a weather update in Colorado?
Yeah, it was like 99 yesterday. It's a little overcasty today, but it's looking good. I'm sweating because my room's really hot and my computer puts out all kinds of heat, so it's very, very, very uncomfortable all the time for me.
Sounds great.
Very cool. My room is right over the garage, so my gaming room is,
everything rises. Yeah.
Yes, the garage just traps heat, and then it's no fun.
No, my bedroom's in the second floor, so last night it's not the greatest place to be. But you know what? We're not here to talk about weather. We're here to talk about video games. And before we do that, we want to thank some very special people that make the show possible.
Yeah, I want to thank all the people over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite, including our besties tier, Derek Trevelyan, Francie, the official hairstylist of Secret Friends Unite's Charlie's wife edition, Xbox expansion pass, Luke Lore, and Charlie's Uncle Tim. Our friends with benefits tier, John Sedorf, Brendan Myers, Corey in HD, Matthew Keel, Kurt Krug, Tanya Lee, Chipotle Bear, Famous Seamus, Cam the Movie Man, Jay Newport 007, and Darth Prozac, as well as our Secret Friends Super Squad. That's Sean, Stella, and Henry Nias. And we have a new addition, a new member of the Secret Friends Patreon family, and that is Freight Conductor. And we are going to be giving Freight Conductor a power-up coming up very, very shortly. But if you would like to join this list of amazing people, you can head over to patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. You can get exclusive shows, no ads, Discord benefits, all that stuff for as little as $2 a month. Your first month is 50% off, and your first week is an absolute free trial. So you can check things out when you enjoy everything and see everything and find out all the goodies. You can stick around for $1, and then the next month will be $2. That's a steal. That's a great deal. So join these
all
amazing
the content you want.
Patreon, patreon.com/secretfriendsunite.
We just had Chris Claremont one of the modern day creators of the X-Men. He was awesome. We had the voice actor who was Lion-O. That was pretty fun. It's just been great to have all these interviews. Mark Guggenheim. We've had some other folks, and we are going to be even having more guests along the way. So if you have a request for a guest, let us know. Charlie's doing his best to find some folks, and we're having some fun interviews coming forward. So, and Charlie just interviewed the son of Gene Roddenberry, one of the creators of Star Trek. So check it out. Those are always fun. First and ad-free for Patreons. If you're interested, give it a try, and we hope you stick around. But Mark, we've got to give Freight Conductor his power-up. So that's one of the benefits of becoming a Patreon. So the power-up, the way it works, can be either be a real-world power-up or a power-up you get to use in a game. So who would like to go first?
Real power-up.
Bacon, like this is someone that's familiar to you and your crew.
He is awesome, or as Joe would like to call him, FR8 conductor. He hasn't figured out that it's
late speak.
Freight conductor. So he always calls him FR8 conductor on his podcast. So it's kind of annoying.
It works.
Him, Kyle, and Tegan, they all get it wrong and then call him FR8 conductor. So hopefully my power up is to power up the trophy room to get this man's name correct. Finally, free the freight conductor from the shackles of being called FR8 conductor. That is my power up sent to my man. No, all jokes aside, freight conductor is a true G. He's in our chat every day, supporting us. He's in our Discord. Man's always talking, always helping us out. So he is a great friend of ours and all our sister podcasts. And stick with us, Freight. We're going places.
Awesome.
I believe he's also from Michigan, so that's a tie to myself as well. So I'm not sure if he bleeds green or blue, but hopefully green. I will give him the power up because I'm in the mind of freight, vehicles, things like that. I am going to give him the ability to never, like in a video game, real life, if there's train tracks, there's never a train there. So if you think in a game where you're racing through, anything in life where you have to stop because the train goes, that's his power up. Never has to encounter a train in real life or in video games.
All right. Okay. I'm going the complete opposite of that. Kind of. I'm going to give him the ability to summon a train.
Oh.
In any video game situation. So, World 1-1, Goomba's giving you trouble in Super Mario Brothers. Don't jump. Throw a train at him. Fortnite Battle Royale. Final couple of, people. You're just, you think you're going to gun it out. Incoming train from the freight conductor. You just got trained, sucker.
Is this like a hovering train or is it on tracks? Because they only go one way, and that's where the tracks were laid. So if it's like a hover train,
it's a hover train or like the tracks. I'm thinking kind of ghost train, so the tracks kind of lay out in front of it and then disappear behind it. So, but ghost train, but can kill you. So if it's a boss battle or something, you don't feel like going through all the motions. Big kind of thing. Hit them with a train.
It sounds like that's better for the environment too, because the tracks come up and.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
You need a power up. You need a little health boost. Train's coming. Back is stocked with food, goodies, power ups, armor, weapons, whatever you need. That train's
so he's got his own passenger car that he can just chill out in.
Boom, summoned. Quick travel, not a problem. There's a train. Waiting for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody wants a horse; they want a train.
And any game, anytime, it's train time. Choo choo.
There we go. It's much better than power up that Charlie gave him, or the superpower, which was he had the ability to turn any train into one of the Thomas the Tank Engine characters, which I thought was really creepy because then they're like real and no.
You always have a friend when you're traveling. If you're traveling inside a friend, nope. Yep, I'm gonna stop talking there. Didn't the creator of Thomas the Tank Engine just pass away? R.I.P.
Maybe. I mean, George Carlin was one of the actors. It was George Carlin, Ringo Starr,
voices. I'm talking about the
and
person,
Alec
the woman
Baldwin.
that
Was he one of them too? It was very weird.
maybe woman. I think it's a woman that created Thomas the Tank Engine. I think she passed away very recently.
Well,
It's not like
time
10
to
years.
introduce Finn to Thomas the Tank Engine if he isn't
Oh,
already
God, he's
introduced.
familiar.
No, please
Yeah,
don't do that.
Yeah, super familiar.
Trains are cool. Well, very good. Now it's time to get into my favorite game that everybody yells at me for, and that is Buy, Rent, and Return. This one's fairly straightforward. I don't have to explain this. I said just best launch
It's one of the
game.
better
So,
ones in a while.
oh, okay. Well, thank you for that. I could not remember if we did this one before because typically we haven't had systems launched since Series X and PS5 we did not have that. I think it was launch lineups. So this was just best launch games. We have Halo, Mario 64, and Tetris on the Game Boy, the original.
Fantastic.
And we've got a lot of comments on here. So even, I will say, I'll shout out Eric first, the hater, the Sony Pony. He says if Halo is not the unanimous pick, then we riot. So we'll see who gets rioted.
Eric, get your riot gear ready. That's
right.
going to lose.
Oh, well.
Hard.
Where do you want to start, Mark? Do you want to go through all the comments? Bacon, I'll gift you the comments of the nerd chat.
Oh.
So if we want to start in the SFU Discord, let's see. I'll start with Famous Seamus. He also has a question on the back end that we'll hit on when we get into the Nintendo Switch background. He says, return Mario 64. This one hurts, but someone had to be returned. I'll admit I only played the DS version of Mario 64. Whoa. No. And I do appreciate its importance in video game history. But some of the stars were a pain, and I'm sure a lot of us developed a fear of pianos after that one ghost level. Rent Halo. Halo was what made Xbox, for better or worse. It has one of the best pistols in all gaming. Great gameplay and awesome multiplayer. Who can forget their time in Blood Gulch? Best? Tetris. Tetris is one of the best games ever made. A game so simple, anyone from child to a grandma can play it. It's timeless. It's just Tetris. How can you beat that? He said best. He's not even calling it a rent or a return. He's just calling it best. No. Some people have said Tetris is the best video game ever made. I don't know if I believe that, but it is a good game. It's
one of them for sure. I like what Seamus is saying here.
All right. Brian Horan, this is Charlie's cousin. He says, buy Super Mario 64, rent Halo CE, return Tetris, most replayability in Super Mario 64, speed runs and glitches than Halo. Halo's probably better overall than 64, but the replayability sells it for me. Tetris is just Tetris. That's my take. And all I want to know from Nintendo at this point is when is a Prime for release date? Yep. Totally agree. Yeah. Winter Gamer, buy Tetris because it's the GOAT. Rent Mario, I'm good with playing it once. Return Halo only because I played it for the first time within the past 5 years. That's kind of surprising because Brandon likes things and Halo's great. So very weird. Okay,
well, in Brennan's defense, I think he's a little younger than me.
Is he?
Which puts him at a bit younger than you as well. So much younger than me. I didn't pick up an Xbox until the 360. So anyone younger, if their parents were buying systems, they were a little bit younger. He's probably still in his Nintendo era up until the 360 mid-cycle when he started to get into serious kind of games. And then Halo is kind of the original Halo, probably passe. I'm going to guess Brendan Myers eventually got into Halo or Gears, but it wasn't until 360 and playing the original launch Halo would probably be tough to go back to after playing.
Are we saying just playing the game when it launched? I thought we were just talking just...
I'm talking... Okay. I'm just justifying what Brendan just said.
Okay.
Like I think I understand within the last 5 years, probably something that he... at that age wouldn't have gone back to it. I didn't go back to Halo for
launch games are hard sometimes too, because if you are talking about your experience with the game when it launched, one thing, but when did the Master Chief Collection come out? Was that an Xbox One?
Yeah, and it was so broken that it didn't work.
2014? Is that when it came
Was
out?
that 2014 or 2015?
But
14.
yeah, the multiplayer was broke, but the single player was okay though, right?
Yeah, I believe single player is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good. That was the one where you could switch back and forth on the
Oh,
fly.
so
Yeah.
good.
Amazing, absolutely amazing
Yeah.
way to play that game.
Yeah, and it's on PC. Or is it on PC?
Master Chief Collection?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a 9 out of 10 on Steam right now.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember because didn't launch. I mean, I remember playing
Halo 5 's
Halo
not on
on PC. I didn't play Halo when I originally played Halo. I played it on PC, which is very weird, very odd because it was only mouse controlled. They didn't support controllers back then on PC. It was a weird experience, weird time.
Sure.
All right,
Shows you how much Microsoft hates Halo 5. They haven't even put that on PC yet.
so weird. Yeah, it's very odd that they didn't do it. It's like kind of a win. Was that because it was like games for Windows or a weird thing? No, it wasn't. I don't know.
I think they're
That's a weird
embarrassed
one.
by it.
That's a weird one. All right, Bacon. We'll let you take the nerd chat comments here.
Okay, I don't matter. Do we do Daddy Duwalies already?
Nope. We did Eric's initial comment.
He said, buy Halo without it, Xbox would not exist anymore. Said, rent Tetris, one of the greatest games of all time, and return Mario 64. People consider this one of the best, but I had a 64 and never beat it. Just couldn't get into the game. Then Captain Logan came in with buy Mario 64, rent Halo, and return Tetris. That's a bold statement,
Jesus.
Logan.
Oh,
Nesta Hauer came back with buy Mario, rent Tetris, and return Halo. She's not into the FPS genre. And then Chipotle Bear agreed with Eric, who said buy Halo, rent Mario, and return Tetris. So that's the Nerd Chat Discord for you.
Mark, you want the last one?
One left. Yeah, Red Beast. We've got Tetris was a brief period in time. I thought my parents were becoming gamers because of the old OG Game Boy, and I think kind of I'm wondering if they're kind of mirroring Chipotle Bear because they replied right to his comment.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's another vote for buy Halo, rent Mario 64, return Tetris. But the comment is making me feel like Tetris should be higher because they thought their parent, like that was the game that their parents were going to become gamers. So, an interesting one right there.
Hillary Clinton played the Game Boy Tetris on the Game Boy on Air Force One. So there you go. It's kind of out there. And she said Pokemon Go to the polls. So if anybody's a gamer, I guess it was Hillary. God, I can't believe she said that. Very, very strange. So, Bacon, we'll start with you. What will you buy? What will you rent? And what will you return?
This is tough. Well, it's not tough with the first one. I'm absolutely buying Halo. That is the game that got me back into gaming after I grew up and went in the military and did things. And so seeing that firsthand brought me back into it. I was like, whoa, went home, bought an OG Xbox that next day after leaving my sister's house. Then I'm going to probably have to rent Tetris just because it's, iconic. It's, I can probably play that on a toaster. I'm going to say Tetris, and then I'm going to have to return Mario 64 just because there's so many other Marios that were so good that I could survive without 64, if that makes any sense in the grand scheme of things.
Totally does.
Okay.
Mark, do you want to go next, or do you want to end the show with your comments?
Oh, I can go next. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm going to buy Tetris because it's one of the greatest pack-in games ever made. One of the best launch games ever made. If you've watched Tetris, like the movie on Apple TV Plus, it is a great movie. And there's a line in the movie, I'll paraphrase it because I won't nail it right off, but he says, like, if you want to sell a few 100,000 copies of this to kids, pack it with Mario. If you want to sell billions of these to everyone, pack it with Tetris. And they packed it with Tetris, and that was the right move because it's one of the greatest just cross-generational showcase games that even in our comments there we got the brief period of time you thought your parents were becoming gamers because of the OG Game Boy and Tetris. it still holds up even if it's in its original form. And I can't really say the same thing for the other two games. They do to some extent, but even, like Bacon, you just kind of said, there's so many other Mario games. There's so many other Halo games. But there's really only, there's other variations of Tetris, but you can always go back to Tetris. So I think as far as launch games, console pack-ins, definitive titles, I think Tetris has to have the top one. The next two for me, very interchangeable, very flip a coin kind of thing. So I think because of my experience, my personal experience of when I played these, like I said, I didn't pick up the Xbox until 360, and I played the original Halo close to the end of the Xbox's life cycle. So close that I knew the 360 was coming out and I waited, but I almost bought an original 360 or an original Xbox just for this game because it was so darn good. But because Super Mario 64 was a launch game for the N64, because it was my introduction to 3D games and 3D gaming and using a joystick and taught us so well, a tiny little press on the thumbstick and you can make Mario tiptoe. And they did that Nintendo thing of teaching you everything while you went. You need to sneak past the piranha plant, tiptoe, triple jumps and moving cameras around. And it's archaic now, but so is Halo, I think, compared to some of the modern shooters and more modern stuff. So I'm going to go rent Super Mario 64, return Halo. That one hurts me. I love the series.
Should hurt.
I love the series. But I missed it at launch, so that I'm going personal. But these two are coin flips. But I think Tetris as a buy is locked in. Talk to me tomorrow. I might say Halo deserves the rental spot, and return Mario 64. But I'll lock it in at that right now, just because.
Okay, I'm going with
water.
I'm going with Halo as my buy. Like I said, I played this on PC because I didn't have an Xbox. I finally did get an Xbox for another game, but I remember being at Kunsan Air Base and the Xbox just came out. People were buying them from the BX, and I remember seeing people play them linked to basically do multiplayer because there was no online component until 2, because that's when Xbox Live finally came out. Kind of crazy. I just remember seeing that. I'm like, because nobody did first-person shooters really well. Like 2 sticks weren't happening. Typically, you had one analog, and maybe you had like the Dreamcast had buttons, and 64 was the same way. So it was very hard to do. Even PlayStation had some games like Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, or wherever the first game was on PlayStation 1, not very good. And then Halo came and just knocked out the park. Loved it to pieces. Just the scope of that game, what you could do. It was kind of the open world nature, the way the enemies reacted, which was so different than I was used to, and just amazing game to launch with. And it's funny because I think only Tetris was a pack-in. Halo was a separate purchase. I think it came with like a demo disc maybe when it launched. Mario 64 was not a pack-in. I can't remember. I guess I thought 64 had a pack-in game, but apparently not either, which is kind of crazy. So there you go. So, and this game just showed people that first-person shooters are real, and it kind of raised it for console. So overall, so I'm giving Halo its props. Mario 64 is my rent, and it's more so for what it did for 3D gaming in regards to how do you control a camera, things like that, and an amazing launch game. I never owned an N64, and it's a game I really want them to apply modern controls and cameras to, because I think it's got some cool ideas. I know in Odyssey, there's a kind of a recreation of Mario 64 in it that's kind of cool, which I love. But for me, I tried to play it throughout the years and just I want to throw the controller at a window. It's just so weird because it does treat it more like you're controlling a camera in a movie than you are doing something else. So it kind of wants to do something different. My brain's not there anymore. So I totally get it. If it was the first one I had played, maybe it would have stuck with me, but not for me. But I really appreciate what it did. Tetris in the Game Boy, I'll be the horrible person to say I don't love Tetris. I'm more of a columns guy, which is lame too, but I realize it. But I loved columns at the arcade, and so I really got into it. I never owned a Game Boy, so I had no way to play Tetris. So when I saw columns looking so beautiful and full color at the arcade, loved it. And then we got Super Gem Fighter, Puzzle Fighter, whatever it was called. I loved all those Sega games. So that was Capcom. Sorry, Capcom did it. So Sega did columns. So yeah, that's my set. So hey, throw the arrows at me. But yeah, Tetris just not a cup of tea. I appreciate what it is, just not for me. Oh well. So you know what? Mark gets hate for Halo. I get hate for Tetris. And Bacon, you're the star of the show.
Oh, usually is the case, gentlemen.
Okay, let's get into.
You guys both mentioned finding Halo whilst or shortly after being in the military. It's a weird kind of distinction, and I wonder if that's like a generational thing, similar to Brendan Myers not discovering Halo for quite a while. Because for me, that was like tail end, or even earlier in high school. So there was still a lot of Nintendo. Like, not a ton of people that I knew had Xboxes at launch. So. And not a lot of like LAN party kind of things, at least in my high school, my area. There's, Smash Brothers tournaments and that kind of stuff, and those kind of
maybe older audience. Just we're talking I really got into first person shooters in college when Doom and Duke Nukem came out, which then led to Quake and things like that, and then Halo was just the first time released on a console. And Mark, for yourself, when you were there were first person shooters, I mean, I guess maybe the first one you really got into, maybe would that have been like Perfect Dark?
No, GoldenEye.
Okay, 100%. GoldenEye. Okay, well, still, yeah. So, okay. So there you go. I think a lot of people feel that way.
So I played Doom. I played Wolfenstein, friends with PCs and that kind of stuff, and even on my own. So I knew that. I even played Marathon. Like, I knew I was waiting for Halo because that was a Mac exclusive for a little tease early on. So I played Marathon on a Mac. So my history of first person shooters, my history of Bungie shooters was going pretty far back. But the Xbox as a newcomer was, around here anyway, just still a little like expensive, mature, unknown, untested kind of thing. And it wasn't, like I said, until later in the life cycle that a couple of friends started picking it up like secondhand and that kind of stuff. So again, I'm wondering if it's like there's like a little generational jump there for some of this, depending on like when you were introduced to these. But it is kind of funny to me that you guys both mentioned experiencing this shortly after, or even in like military service, and the closeness there to being on base or being with people and having those experiences. So that's an interesting one. It's a cool little coincidence.
Yeah, mine was just based on age and time frame. I was in high school and I started partying and having fun. Then I went in the military. So I played. What did I play? I played StarCraft in the military, and then right there at the tail end, I just went back to my sister's house for Christmas with my barracks roommate, and we're like, "What is this? Whoa!"
Awesome.
And it was just like, so I never technically was into first-person shooters till I got into Halo.
Yeah, even when I was stationed in Saudi Arabia, and that was around 2002, and I tell you, it was you saw the importance of gaming when I was there, because they had a little station where you could go, and if you wanted to just get away from things, because it was what a lot of people, and that's kind of what video games have done to a lot of people in the military now. They gives them something to connect with people, or just at least give them a little respite when, considering what's going on when they're deployed. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's get into what we've been gaming. So, Bacon, kick it off, man. Anything exciting? Any surprises that you've been playing lately?
Yeah, I mean, last week was a good week for me. I beat Doom, then turned around and beat Platinum Spider-Man 2 on PC.
Nice.
But since then, I have been playing Last of Us 2 on PC like crazy. I got some gripes.
First time?
I played some on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
Just fell off it. And then I have this yearning to platinum every single PlayStation game on PC is kind of a dig to the ponies that, hey, I can do it on my PC too. I'm not sure I'm going to go for it on this one just because there is so much stuff to collect in this game. There's like 148 pieces of paper to collect. There's 30 coins to collect.
No, don't do it.
There's 48 playing cards, some number like that. Like, it's
Not
absurd.
52?
I don't know. It's a high number. It is absolutely absurd. And you have to do a playthrough and a half to even get the platinum because you can't get enough stuff to do all your upgrades in your first playthrough, from what I understand. The game is incredible. I mean, the set pieces are beautiful. It's like the show did it justice. I'm not one of the haters of the show like everybody else is. I think the show's doing exactly as well as the game did. It's just, I don't know. I might have to give in to Joe on this one from the trophy room and just not get this platinum because it's going to be a grind, if I'm being honest. I hate to say it.
You know, Bacon reminds me of, Daddy Diwali's just infatuation with beating FF16. It's like, dude, why are you punishing yourself if you're not enjoying it? Right. But totally get it. But yeah, that's the platinums and that's a tough one, man. And a lot of the stuff, the guides to get some of those things, I imagine it's very hard to find.
It's hours and hours pieces. Long. Yes,
yeah. It's a lot of homework.
It does. It has a high contrast mode, which you use your controller and swipe across the D-pad, and it turns all the collectibles or anything you need in the room yellow, and like turns everything else a different color. So that does make it easier. But I find myself in that mode more than actual playing the game and enjoying the graphics because I'm so driven to get this platinum that I'm like, I gotta get everything. And before I know it, I've been in that high contrast mode for 20 minutes. Like, oh, I'm missing this waterfall. I'm missing this rain. I'm missing this, dystopian future. Everything's gone to hell. And so I gotta find myself clicking off that, but I need all the collectibles. So, and I do this every time. Like God of War Ragnarok, when I went for that platinum, that was one of the worst platinums I've ever. That was the worst grind I've ever seen in any video game in my life, and it really soured my experience. And I have a feeling this is going to sour this one too, or I'm not going to let it. I don't know. Tough. It's tough because you can only find one bullet at a time. It's like, oh, cool. Like, come on, guys. But we'll see how it goes. I'm at the part now where I'm playing as Abby, so I'm probably halfway through, I would assume.
Still, how many years and no platinums? I just don't search them out, and unless it I get a platinum for just beating the game, or unless I do something unique that triggers a trophy, I'm just not.
That's the thing is, on Spider-Man 2018, I didn't try for that platinum. And that was my first platinum. I got that on the PS5. I just love the game so much. I went to everything, did everything. Wasn't even trying for that platinum again. I got it, and I went years without a platinum. Then I realized, Ghost of Tsushima's on PC, and it has trophy support. So I platinumed it on purpose. And it's just my way of getting back at the stables that they think that, they're not a third-party publisher as well. So I'm just getting, and it says on my PlayStation profile on their app that I got mine on PC, so it's kind of fun.
So he's like, whatever I can do to get you, Bacon. Yep. It's funny. The game that I love the most is probably Mass Effect 2. Played on Xbox 360. 360. And I don't know what I didn't do to get all 1,000 achievements. I really don't did. I did all the DLC, everything. I'm like, so I just gave up at that point. I'm like, I think I had 975. I'm like, and move on. Yeah, it was frustrating.
I couldn't get a romance in Mass Effect 1.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Yeah. I couldn't get away from my lady though. I felt like I didn't want to cheat, so can't have that. Yep. Anything else, Bacon?
That's it. I just messed around on my Switch playing a bunch of retro games, and other than that, it's mainly been Last of Us.
Okay, very cool. Abby, it's kind of funny because our buddy Charlie, who is only watching the show, doesn't play the games, even though he just ordered, I think, Last of Us or Last of Us 2. And I'm like, you're going to play this? So I don't know. But I told him it's the season. You may not be happy with this part of the season. The problem is that game is essentially set up in two halves anyway. So, well, essentially three almost at a point. So it's very hard to tell that story in one setting, especially if we want to get to know Abby really well. So
I don't think I want to know Abby.
yeah, well, you don't. Nobody's very likable this season, which I think is the biggest problem for a lot of people. Like the people you wanted to root for are just doing really dumb things, and it just makes you angry. All right, I think we're going to get a lot of Switch talk now because Mark, I think, has gone in deep with Switch 2. Mark,
I'm not going to go in deep to a lot of these games. I restarted Tears of the Kingdom. I never finished this game. My brother's been hounding me to do it. I wanted to do it a little while ago and then said, you know what, I'll wait for the Switch 2 and I'll just play it then. So that's what I've done. I talked to my brother this weekend. He hadn't tried Wind Waker. I hadn't tried Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch 2s yet. And we both kind of like left on Sunday, like, I'm going to play this and I'm going to play that. And I saw him online last night and he fired up the GameCube service thing. And I was like, okay, I've got to restart Tears. So I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom a bit. I'm still at a part where I had played before, so I'm not at anything new. But I'm enjoying it more this time. I'm not as frustrated right off the bat. And the problem with it last time was I had just played Jedi Survivor. And I thought Jedi Survivor was one of the strongest sequels I've ever played because I'm so used to Zelda games and Metroid games and all of these games that continue on in a series. You start off and you're super powered and then something kicks you and you're right back to square one and you're depowered and you're naked in a cave and you're missing an arm. And I was like, I put 200 and some hours into friggin' Breath of the Wild. Like, give me a sword that functions or make something not break or give me pants. Jesus, give me some pants. And so I was frustrated because Jedi Survivor started you with the powers and abilities and lightsaber that you had in Jedi Fallen Order, and they just improved on everything. They took it away and just went above and beyond and gave you new abilities, new powers, new lightsaber mechanics, and just did a better job. So I was very, very frustrated and angry, especially at the opening of this game, that I had to start back from square one, pantsless and armless in a cave. And now being disconnected from Jedi Survivor for a little bit, and having not played anything close to like Tears of the Kingdom or like Zelda since like, is it the Echoes of Wisdom or whatever? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying like I'm far enough away from Breath of the Wild. I'm just like okay, cool. Yeah, I'm naked in a cave. Let's go. Let's.
So are you starting again, or are you just picking up where you left off?
Oh no, I'm starting again. I started fresh, new save, brand new, everything. Start right over. Yeah, fresh everything on the Switch 2. I wiped the entire save file. So,
you're a brave man.
Start from scratch. It's
only like really an 80-hour game. So, good luck.
That's all. But I needed to do that. I needed to just get away from my other save file because at that point, I don't think I'd remember anything. I think I kind of needed that refresher, and I just wanted to start over at that point. So, so I've been doing that, and it's taken me away from everything else. So I have dabbled, and I'll talk about this when we get into the Switch 2 stuff, but I have dabbled in Hogwarts Legacy. I've been playing Rocket League on the Switch 2, which is great because the frame rate's a lot more stable. The dynamic resolution is a lot better, so it doesn't look like Vaseline smeared all over the screen anymore. It's not quite as pretty. I hope they release a Switch 2 native version of Rocket League, but like as is, pretty good. Just like runs better. Fortnite, which did get a Switch 2 version released. It's not running the Switch 1 version of the game. Awesome. Blitz Royale is really, really good on the Switch 2. If you haven't played that yet, it's like really, really quick matches. They're over in like 5 minutes. It's a condensed map. Everything moves super quick. and you start off with weapons and power-ups and all that kind of stuff. I've been playing Arkham Asylum. I want to get into that series again. Mario Odyssey, got the patch to make it look better. Played Clubhouse Games with Finn a little bit. We tried Game Share.
Is it now at 60 frames per second?
It did get a patch. It's
oh,
better
really?
looking. It's better looking and has the it has the game. What's it called? Game stream, game share, whatever it's called.
Game share, yeah.
So really cool. I'll get into that in a bit, and then fired up Splatoon 3 because that just got a patch as well and some updates, and they announced a new Splatoon spin-off game. So I've been playing a whole lot of stuff on the Switch too, but my main focus for the time being, I'd say for the next few weeks, is definitely going to be Tears of the Kingdom.
Very, very good. I did start up Tears of the Kingdom again. And I'm trying to remember where I can find my playtime. I think I still have to go through that stupid parental app or whatever, which is dumb. Which is it's so I will talk about more of my experience with some of the weird Nintendo stuff, but I picked the wrong area to see if it looked better because I'm in an area where it's deserty, so there's a lot of like sandstorms. So everything just looks like a sandstorm. So it doesn't help the way it looks. So, but I died instantly because I forgot I met this boss where in this you can't see this boss and he comes up from underneath you in the desert. I'm about 50 hours into that game when I stopped. So I have no clue what I'm doing. Can't remember where I'm at. I did get the Master Sword, which was one of the and Bacon. Did you ever play Tears of the Kingdom?
No, I'd never even finished Breath of the Wild.
Okay. Well, I will tell you this game, you can get them. I mean, I guess it's a spoiler, but the Master Sword is in this game. And to find it, it is one of the craziest missions I have ever done. My son had to Sherpa me to it because I didn't believe him when he said, Dad, you're not going to believe where it is. I'm like, no, it's exactly what he explained. Bacon, if you're not going to play it, I would just watch a video of how you get it. It's just really weird. But it's really cool, but very hard too. It's kind of like, okay, you have to really, really roll on it. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'll get back to it or not, but I did want to try it out. And it does, if you have NSO Expansion Pass, they added additional features. I think there's actually a diary. There's actually a way to repair weapons now, which is crazy. So they've done a lot with that. And if you have NSO, you get it for free, $20 if you want to upgrade, or $80 if you want to just buy the whole complete package, which is just crazy. So buy yourself a used copy and then get the upgrade pack. That's the best way to do it if you can. So something I tried that I'm really bad at, but I think is so much fun, I need to find people to play it with, and that's Rematch. I played on PC Game Pass. This is by the guys who made Sifu. It's a soccer game. It's 3-on-3 or 4-on-4 or 5-on-5. And man, it is so stylish. It just reminds me of Rocket League. And it kind of makes sense because Rocket League was cars and soccer. And this is just really cool, stylish soccer players. They really capture the feeling of soccer, very international feel. And the problem was, I swear, every game, 3-on-3, one of my cohorts bounced. So it was me and my goalie against, we got destroyed, but it's so much fun. It's clever. It's beautiful. Looks like Sifu, the people from Sifu went and played a soccer game. It's beautiful. And I've heard some folks that want to play. I think 1H1D, a few others, Kevin Ainsworth talked about it. But if anyone wants to play, I'll play with you. I'm very bad, but it's fun. And I highly recommend it. I'm glad it's on Game Pass because a game like that, it needs people. I don't think it really has a solo mode. I didn't play it with like bots or anything like that, so I don't know how it's going to go. But it seems like the type of game that would have really cool like skill missions. Like you have to like think of like Mario games where you have like those skill things you have to do, like hit things at targets in a wall. I think this game would have very fun skilled things like kill targets with the soccer ball. But it's really cool. I recommend checking it out. If you have Game Pass, it's there. And I think it's $30, but if you don't have it, Game Pass on either console or PC, it's really cool. So Bacon, I don't know if you the nerd chat wants to get into it, but I think you guys would have a fun time, even if you don't like soccer.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Dan would handle that. He'd probably throw some stuff. And
I mean, he's pretty competitive. He'd probably start yelling at everybody like Will Ferrell.
In caps, because that's what he does.
What's that one soccer movie where is it Kicking and Screaming where Will Ferrell plays the soccer coach?
Yeah, doesn't it have Mel Gibson too, or is that?
I think so. Maybe he's the other coach, like the high end coach. But yeah, I think it would be a lot like that. But it is fun, Mark. I don't know if you have any interest or not, but I think you might enjoy it. I know you're not a big sport head, but I think it's fun. I'm glad we're getting more of an
love Rocket
arcadey
League.
soccer game.
And if you can get me some superpowered soccer, some ridiculousness. I like ridiculous sports games. I think that's my jam.
It's not like flaming soccer balls or anything like that. Sorry.
Okay.
But it is still fun. It's very animated and very arcadey, which is kind of, we don't have many arcade soccer games. I think the last one that's not made by Nintendo was like Sega Soccer Slam or something like that. There was another game. So I'm glad we are getting more sports, like arcadey games. So, but
I'm installing this right now with the Xbox app. So we'll see. I will
I'd play with you, Mark. Yeah, I'd play with anybody.
I enjoy Rocket League so much, and Ted Lasso. So you know what?
Great show.
We might find a little.
If you design your character, you may be able to look like Ted Lasso, mustache and all. So we'll see how that happens. Let's see. I was inspired to go back to South of Midnight. I've been all over the place. I've been playing Doom, playing South of Midnight. So I'm like, I gotta ratchet down and just play one game at a time, or I'm never gonna get through anything. And so I'm fully committed to South of Midnight. Man, this game is beautiful. It's wonderful story. I did have a couple of nits to pick in regards to most of the music is great. There's a couple of songs. I don't know who they picked to sing it. It just doesn't sound right. It's just like, I don't know what it is, but the rest of the music is amazing. So I'm hoping, I don't know if they had a reason to pick the person. It sounded like a grandma singing and it didn't sound great. It was a weird, like hymn, but it wasn't like a cool spiritual. It sounded like an old white lady doing it, which was like, kind of took me out of it. But the game is wonderful. Beat Toad Tom, which is very cool. There is some things I don't like about the controls. I feel like, once again, if you're using a controller, the whole going faster, you have to kind of push down on a stick to do it. And it works sometimes, seems kind of inconsistent. I'm playing with an Xbox controller. And then sometimes I just feel really slow comparative. Like I thought I should be faster. But other than that, I'm loving the game. The combat is a little repetitive. The boss battles are awesome. But to basically get these power-ups, to get your skill tree expanded, you have to go into these battle arenas. Quite honestly, they just feel like you've done it a million times. Every once in a while, I bring in a new enemy, but it's still good. And that's where I want this team, because this is their first combat game. I mean, they made Contrast and they made We Happy Few. So the fact that now they're going forward with this type of genre, I want to see what they do next, because I think they're very talented, and I think there's some things they can work on. They could patch some things in, but it's a game that everybody should play, and it's like $40. So if you have Game Pass, play it. If you don't have Game Pass, pay $40, and this will probably be coming to PlayStation and maybe even Switch 2 later on, is my guess, because I think it just fits for Nintendo, quite honestly, and Sony too. Yeah. And then I got into Switch 2 to try out some of the old games. So I'm sure we all played some old games, see like kind of where it was at. So one of the games that struggled on the Switch was Bayonetta 3. I loved Bayonetta 2, was great. Bayonetta 3 struggled with frame rate, just resolution, everything. I had heard they only fixed the frame rate. And that's what they did. They fixed the frame rate, but the resolution is bad. I put it on the TV. It looks like, I don't think it's even 720p. I think it's maybe in that 480 to 720 range. Doesn't look that great. And it's a game that deserves better. So I'm hoping, I mean, Platinum's good at these things, and they should be able to fix the resolution. Apparently, even in docked mode, they can't get it to do the full resolution, which makes no sense to me. So it probably looks better on the handheld. I did do it with a handheld, but a game like that, I want to see it on the big screen. Because when your character is that small on the Switch screen and she's doing these amazing things, she just deserves to be bigger. So that's a game I think needs some more TLC. Then I played Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, a game that I don't know why it's still only on Nintendo Switch all these years later. It really should go everywhere. I think it deserves to be everywhere, just because I think other hardware would have done better. And then I played it. It struggles. I mean, even the load times. And I thought, this will be better on. I own it digitally. I thought this would be faster because we have faster, speed of they're not using an SSD, but they're using a faster flash memory, and the memory cards are faster. I thought this would be much faster. No, you're sitting there waiting for it to load. It's bad. Yeah. So I don't think they've touched this game, quite honestly. And I remember why I didn't enjoy this game, and it was because if you like new characters, there's no auto leveling. So if you find a really cool character like level 6, that character is starting at level 1. It's like, I'm not going to replay this game with every character over again to get them to a level. So it just seems like that was something they could have fixed. I can't remember if the old Marvel Ultimate Alliance games did that, but it seemed like if I got a new character, it seemed like you would be able to power him up equivalently. So yeah, it's really frustrating, but it's a game that, it's been 6 years since the game is out. I really wish it was better, and I want a new Marvel Ultimate Alliance game. Put it everywhere. I think Activision made those games. Activision is now owned by Xbox, so maybe Xbox makes a deal to get the license back, and they remaster or remake those games. I know they got a remake for Xbox One, I think, but still just a fresh coat of paint, not really updated. So maybe 4 will come to Xbox, and that'd be awesome, because I think it's a cool roster. The art design is great. I think it's one of the better art design games because they look great. So big miss. And there is a DLC that's out there, but it's $20. Hasn't gone down in price since it launched like 6 years ago, which is a shame because there's some really cool stuff. So big miss on that end. And then played more Mario Kart World. I got away from just the races, and I've done some of the open world trials, which are kind of fun. Have you guys done any of those so far?
Yeah, they're great. Finn and I love them, especially Finn. He every day he's like, can we play Mario Kart, but not the races? Like, he's very specific, but not the race. He just loves exploring the open world and grinding rails, like a weird little Donkey Kong, Tony Hawk mashup kind of thing. Like, it's fantastic. He absolutely loves it.
I have been playing, so I got into the Battle network game where you got the balloons and you're going. It's basically a battle royale, which is very fun. I like that so much. I actually won my first match. It was number 1. I got the crown, wouldn't let it go. Of course, I'm playing it on easy. That's okay, but it's fun. I mean, I did the level. Did you guys do the level with the dinosaurs? That's amazing. Bacon, there are these huge dinosaurs that are just going through the level, like Tyrannosaurus Rex, Triceratops. There's dinosaur eggs, and I was excited to just play some more of the levels because they're so ingenious. Kind of reminds me of it's like the size of the dinosaur in a Mario Odyssey, and they're just free roaming around the level, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's great. And then I did do the battle circuit, where it's essentially a battle royale, but it's basically if you don't get to like a certain place in the race, you get kicked out, which is very cool. I like it. It's basically saying you just have to survive and not be slower. Like I think it goes from 40 to 30 to 20 racers, and it keeps going, and you have to be and so basically you just don't want to be, you want to be 29, you don't want to be 30th or whatever. So it's very cool. I like the way they do it, and it's giving me something to have excitement for. I'm not a big guy that wants to just do laps and go around and do that. So that's the stuff I like, and I just want them to do more. I don't know what their plan is with this game, quite honestly. It's already $80. I mean, if you add DLC for tracks, this game is going to be $110. That's kind of pricey considering Mario Deluxe 8 had more tracks at the end. So we'll see what happens. That was $90, I think, with the DLC or free. So we'll see what it does, but I hope they do more in the open world. I really want a reason to do things. I know they have stamps and things, but it doesn't really give you a good idea of where you get the stamps, and it's not motivating to anyone. It's not like Bacon and his trophies on PlayStation doing that. So
I hope they do a patch that's similar to what they eventually did in Breath of the Wild, where you could see where you've been in the open world. Because so many times I'm exploring, I'm like, okay, what P switches haven't I found yet? What little things haven't I done? And it's like, we've already been here. Okay, let's warp over to somewhere else. It looks like we've already been here. And it's just, I think we'll eventually hit that point where it just becomes more annoying than exploratory and fun. Maybe it won't, just because 5-year-old attention span is different. So I wonder if like Finn will be the one to continue this game, where I will just kind of be like, I keep finding gray P switches, and that's pissing me off. So I'm bouncing onto something else. But like he'll kind of be like, "No, this is fine. I'll just redo this challenge 16 times in a row because I'm 5 and have nothing better to do." Like it's. So, but yeah, I hope that eventually they do release some sort of a map that you can see where you've explored. You can see the P switches that you've found. You can see what's left maybe or spot those places like you could in Breath of the Wild. Like it didn't show you what was there, but it showed you like, oh, you may have missed some stuff in this area of the map because you've been essentially all around it. And I remember when they released that for Breath of the Wild, like going to those places, it was like, oh my God, how did I miss this entire section of this world after putting 100 and something hours into this game? How did I miss it was like the mini putt thing or like the bowling or whatever it was? Like it like completely glossed over complete sections of that game. So I hope they do the same thing with this.
Yeah, even had like a map feature where you could even put in like pins or something like, oh, I found this, I'm going to put that there so I can come back to it. Yeah. It shows up on your map and you do that. Bacon, anything else? I mean, Mario Kart, are you getting into it that much or?
Yeah, I played a couple. I probably got like an hour or two in it, and then I tried to link up with my brother to play some matches. It was like the third night, and we kept dropping from each other. So I'm not sure if it's because I was downstairs, not right next to my router or not, but it was super duper frustrating. Like our voice chat was working fine, but we just kept dropping out of races together, and I'm just like, huh. So it kind of soured me on that a bit.
How is like matchmaking, playing with your friends? I haven't done any of that yet.
No, that was easy. Just hopped in his lobby and he'd launch the game.
Nice.
You got whoever's in charge of the lobby picks the game or picks the circuit, whatnot, and you free roam until the game's ready to go, and then fires you up. But then it was either him disconnected and then I disconnected from each other. So we haven't tried it since then. So a little frustrating.
My experience is very different. I haven't had a single dropped game. I've played with, Loren and I have played with my brother, and done voice chat through the game chat and that kind of stuff. And then I played with friends from kind of all over, from the States. Like I can basically see where my brother lives from this window right here in front of me. So like, that's not a super impressive connection, but I've also played with people that are scattered all around the States. Like Dave Moore, from the Snack Network invited me into a group chat and we've played a couple of times. No disconnection, 4 people using. So I didn't know this before, but only 4 people can use their cameras or game streaming in game chat, and the rest are just audio.
Sure.
For whatever stupid reason, but so we had
icons or heads or anything to represent people, or
hilarious. Okay. So if you have the camera on, it is absolutely hilarious because it just focuses in on your head and makes you this circle with your face, and like it's a video, so it's not just like your static face. Like you can see what's going on, so you can see all your reactions and stuff. But when you get hit by a shell, your little circle spins around like a record in the air.
Good.
So it's like my head flipping upside down and 360 around.
Okay, that's pretty great.
It's hilarious. It really is. So worth it. We can get into this in a bit, but worth it. Like to hook up a webcam. I've used this webcam on my Switch too. You do not have to get the actual Switch.
Yeah, I'll talk about that too.
Webcam. Completely useless to get something else if you already have a USB webcam of any kind. And adds so much hilarity to the game. It's amazing. But yeah, so my experience has been great. We've tried battle mode, we've tried knockout tour, we've tried regular races. I haven't had a single drop yet. So that could have been just luck of the draw 3 days in. I didn't try online stuff till probably, I'm going to say, a week in. So could have been a rough start. I would attempt that again. See if you have better luck, because I've had some really good luck with it.
Okay. Well, very cool. Well, we're going to get into all in on the Switch in the bonus round, and that's where we're headed now. But before we do that, here's a commercial.
Hey, Secret Friends Unite, let me tell you about Zencastr.
We use them for our show, and now they're supporting us. Zencastr is now the all-in-one solution making podcasting easy. It's the ultimate web-based podcasting solution, provides high-quality audio and video podcast production and hosting. With a full suite of professional tools, podcasters can seamlessly record, produce, and publish studio-quality content, all from one dashboard. Being a creator has never been easier. And we chose Zencastr because of the ease of use, high quality output, and it makes it super easy for our guests to come on. We had multiple solutions we tried before, and Zencastr has just been the best fit for us. Why Zencastr? It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sounds and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. Have you ever worried what you sound like? Zencastr's post-production process makes you sound buttery smooth. It automatically removes those ums and ahs in your recording. It removes those awkward pauses in conversation too. Set the right podcast loudness and levels while reducing background noise with the click of a button. So if you're interested in making an easy, high-quality podcast just with the click of a browser button, go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my code SFU1. You'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Now back to the show. Okay, we're sitting in the bonus round where we're going to be talking about our experience with the Switch, kind of like going all in. We're kind of talk about the system itself, the experience. If I don't think we've heard about Bacon's story about how he got a Switch. We want to hear about that, and then kind of like what we've bought. Things, and then things you got, accessories, things like that, and then you kind of your experience setting up the Switch, things you've done with it, and then we want to get into kind of like where we think the future, the future of Switch 2 is, and kind of what new stuff we'll get. And before we do that, I just want to announce that there was 2 bit of news that kind of came out, which was very cool since we last recorded. One was Mark kind of hinted at it. Splatoon is getting a spin-off exclusive Switch 2 game, which it sounds like it's going to be more of a solo type experience. Mark, you want to fill us in? I don't know much about it. I'm not a big Splatoon guy, but you are.
Yeah, they haven't really shown off a lot either. But it does. You're right on. It looks like it's going to be single player for the most part. And that's kind of it. I would expect some updates soon. It's called Splatoon Raiders. They're calling it a spin-off game. So yeah, I don't really know. That's really all that they've said. There's you're playing the role of a mechanic, and you go on a mysterious adventure alongside Deep Cut, who were in they're the trio that tell you the news at the start of Splatoon 3. Aside from that, it's kind of anyone's guess how this is going to work. So I
that was
can't wait
announced during their app, wasn't it? It was announced in their Nintendo Today app, right?
Yeah,
which
Nintendo
is so
Today.
weird.
So keep checking that app. It's proven itself pretty useful for breaking news. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, and we didn't get a Nintendo Switch Direct, although being part of the Nerd Chat's Summer Games, I don't know, what was that called, Bacon? It was like the Summer Game Fest Scoring Edition. What'd you guys call that?
I'm not sure there was an official name for it.
Okay. So we had
Battle Royale.
That's right. And so basically people had to guess what I would give the Nintendo Direct score, which is very random. Like, for the game that we got, the Donkey Kong? And like, yes. And like, okay. So it was very, very random, very fun, but I appreciated being part of the goofiness. But we did not actually get a Switch a Direct or anything like that. I'm hoping we do, because there's still some games that need release dates. And more to come. So the other thing that happened since we connected was the Donkey Kong Bananza Direct, which is about 15 minutes minutes long, came out last week, and that's truly what it was, a deep dive into everything about Donkey Kong, that game, the fact that it was all a flim-flam. The rock buddy is not actually a rock, it is Pauline, but Pauline is like a teen who wants to be a singer. Very bizarre and random, but she's going to be your companion. She's going to use her voice talents to do things. Apparently there's tuning forks all over the levels. This game has a Mario Paint like game with rocks creation where you're sculpting rocks to make things, which is very crazy. It's got like you can make Donkey Kong's lair with like trinkets and such. It's got Donkey Kong Country-esque levels in it. It's got spelunking where you go down on the earth. You can throw poo, maybe even this game, I don't know, but you throw sand that'll stick, kind of like a poo. This game is crazy. What did you guys think of this game? Bacon. I mean,
I think it looks great. I mean, it's, if I'm being honest, it's really the only thing I got looking forward to right now. I hate to crap on this launch, but it's a little dry if you're asking me. So
it's thin.
Yeah, it's incredibly thin. I mean, short of me playing the retro games and still trying to beat Metroid Dread, not a lot to look forward to, but I am actually looking forward to Donkey Kong just because it's Donkey Kong. It just, that name pulls some cachet.
Yeah, it's got co-op, so I think, Mark, that'll be good for you and Finn. I don't know, Bacon, does your wife play at all?
No, she only plays phone. She says she's not a gamer, but she's always on her phone games and harvesting crops and matching outfits, but she says she's not a gamer, so I don't know.
My wife does word games all the time, Wordle and other things, crosswords, stuff like that. That's her jam. She lied to me. She said she was a gamer when we were first dated. She played some Virtua Tennis. She likes shooting zombies like House of the Dead, but after that, nope. She likes to watch me play, which is fun, like Hogwarts Legacy. She was super impressed with that. So I'm like, yeah, I get it. So, but she's not going to play Pauline for you?
No.
Okay. Well, there we go.
No.
And I don't know if it's just local co-op or you could play online with someone.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, yeah. I mean, Dan's going to probably get another Switch too. So you can play with him.
You can also do the game share thing for that too. So you can do the game streaming.
That's right. Play with another person.
Switch One.
Okay.
Which is really neat. Because we kept my Switch OLED, and that's Finn's primary console now. So being able to stream games from the Switch 2, and that's how we played Clubhouse Games. It wasn't installed on the Switch 1. I kind of set up a room. He joined it, and the game chair, we played 2-player that way. And this is going to be the same. You can use a Switch 1. And he doesn't have to have a copy of the game. Obviously, it's not even on Switch 1, but he can control. Essentially, he's using a controller on my Switch, but it's running through his, and he can control player.
Is it like casting it to the Switch, kind of like remote play?
It is
okay, that's weird.
Casting it to the Switch 1. The craziest thing with Clubhouse Games was it's not really crazy, I guess, when you think of it, but like just logistically for my brain to wrap around, when we played Clubhouse Games, I was using the Switch 2 in handheld mode, and he had the Switch 1 on the TV, but everything was running from mine. So it was like the one on the TV was just essentially the being, streaming my console that was in my hand. It was really weird. And like Loren came into the room, she was like, "What's happening right now?" I was like, I'm streaming a game to his Switch and he's controlling player 2, but it was like, it's really cool. So if it works with Donkey Kong, it's going to be great. Because the launch lineup was so thin, I was okay excited for Donkey Kong, but up until this direct, nothing that I saw blew me away. Like, it looked cool, but I was wondering for a while if it was going to be one of those like tech demo-y kind of launch titles that it's like, yeah, okay, it's like Donkey Kong, it's a 4K, Nintendo game kind of thing. Like, it's cool. It was giving me big Bowser's Fury vibes. Like, it was awesome, for a couple of hours, and then you beat it, and it was like, all right, that was neat, cool, let's move on. But now, holy, after seeing this, it looks deep. I was kind of also worried. My brother kind of reiterated this when we were chatting a couple of weeks ago. Scared that the underground was going to make the entire game kind of like dark and dingy and darker as you kept going, kind of thing. But we saw from this footage that even if you're underground, there can still be sunsets and there can still be beautiful beaches, and being underground
Makes
apparently
total
doesn't.
sense. It's like the King Kong world, right? It's like the world
That's
that's in
exactly
King
what I
Kong.
said. That's exactly what I said. It was just like King Kong. So I'm 100% in. This game looks fantastic. I cannot wait to play it. And it's sneaking up. I wish it was another launch title, because I think it would have been a really nice thing to have to complement Mario Kart World. But I understand, because I think the rest of their summer is pretty barren. Like, I understand spacing them out a little bit to make it look like you're
Yeah.
actually launching some games like throughout the summer
I
or whatever.
They did that with the Switch, but I mean, the original launch. I mean, what do we had? We had Breath of the Wild and Snipper Clips and One Two Switch. Then what? A month later, we got Mario Kart, and then we got Splatoon. And it was like they had essentially a
Yeah.
game every month, which was crazy
Yeah.
that it happened that way. But in this instance, I guess they feel like, well, you got to Switch too. Now you can play the old games. You can go back to your old games too, and we'll update some of the old games. Like, what is it, the Kirby game that's getting a $20 deluxe
And
edition, which is getting more missions and
that's
things
in
like that.
August.
Yeah,
So there's a couple of those. I don't think there's an actual launch in August, but they've got a couple of those like enhanced editions coming in August and like July. Kirby being one of them. That, again, my son is flipping his lid over that there's new Kirby stuff in a game that we've beaten
Kirby's
4
super
times.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Great. Um,
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the
next
launch
big launch
list,
after is Pokemon.
I mean, Pokemon's coming, but I mean, I think the games right now, this is what's available now on Switch 2. It's Mario Kart World. Welcome, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. We got the Breath of the Wild edition. We got the Tears of the Kingdom edition. We got Kirby and the Forgotten Land comes out in August 28th. Super Mario Party Jamboree is that plus edition is end of July. Donkey Kong is middle July. Then we have Pokemon ZA, which is coming out October 16th. And then Kirby Air Ride does not have a release date.
That's
Yeah,
still
I think
saying
that's
2025, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah, and then Metroid Prime 4 does not have a release date yet, but that is on both systems. That's about it from a Nintendo first-party perspective, which is pretty lean, to Bacon's point. Yeah, so I mean, I think it was just to space things out. And once again, we didn't get a direct, so we have not heard anything else about what we're going to be seeing for the rest of the year, what we can think to play. So that'll be a big thing. But, Donkey Kong looks amazing. It's on my short list for Game of the Year because I just love those type of games. We're not getting an Odyssey, but this feels like my Odyssey game for the Switch. So very, very cool. Apparently it's the team, but Nintendo refuses to tell anybody who's making their games, which is just so weird. Yeah. I think it's anti-developer, it's anti-creative, and they shouldn't have to make you feel like they give flowers to anybody but Miyamoto or Sakurai or anybody else. They feel like they need to bring up their talent to say, this is the guy who's behind. Could anybody tell me who made Mario Odyssey? Because there's no, I know Miyamoto's not really involved anymore, but it'd be great to know who the new mind trust of Nintendo is making these awesome franchises. But I guess we'll see. So that's like kind of the big announcements we got. So what I want to do now is pivot to kind of our experiences with the Switch 2. So, Bacon, tell me your Switch 2 story of how you got the Switch, why you got the Switch 2, and what did you get? Accessories, those type of things, games?
Yeah, so the night I went live, I drug my feet and didn't realize till Dan said something. So I hopped on Best Buy and tried, and everything was sold out. So I kind of just said, yeah, I'm fine, not getting one for now. and I kept trying the next couple of days, never got one. And then Chapo told me that he actually got two, one from Best Buy and one from Target, so I could have it. So I was like, all right, why not? So I went ahead and paid for it. Then we never got shipping information for the longest time, and it was like launch day, launch morning. And I'm like, hey, Chapo, any word on the shipping? Because I heard pre-orders were getting canceled left and right, and I'm like, huh. So I checked my local Target and saw that there was still some in stock from launch night.
Wow.
I drove right over there, bought it. I was like, all right, threw it in the passenger seat. I was like, hey, is this thing shipped yet, Chapo? Like, what's going on? He's like, so this will be here today or tomorrow. And I'm like, all right. So I didn't open it. It showed up that night. So I went and picked it up. I never opened the one from Target because it wasn't the bundle with Mario Kart. So
yes.
I went back and returned that one to Target. I offered it to a few coworkers for exactly what I paid for it with tax. No one jumped on it, so I went and returned it. I'm like, here you guys go. Put it back on the shelf. I can see you're now out of stock. Go ahead. And I haven't opened it. Still sealed. Put it on the shelf and sell it. And they are like, nope, it's got to go back to Nintendo. I'm like, are you guys kidding me? It is still factory sealed. And they had to send it back to Nintendo, even though there's nothing on the shelves. And I had it for less than 24 hours. I'm like, really, guys? It's kind of sad.
That is sad.
So as far as games I've
Who did you return it to?
Target.
Weird, because I had the same experience where I had a pre-order through Walmart, but it was only the base console. And I decided I was going to go to Costco first thing in the morning, and Costco was perfect. It worked out great. I was able to get that Pro Controller. Their edition, though, was for extra $25. I ended up getting they included a year of the Xbox expansion or the expansion pass. So it was like, I saved like $25 and ended up selling that to a guy in the Nerd Chat, I think. Nice. Bought that off me for $35. So I gave him a deal. And then one of my coworkers didn't get one. And I said, hey, I'll sell it to you for, the price plus tax, which was just under $500. But yeah, he was very happy. And I'm like, let's help each other out.
So as far as games I've purchased, it's my first physical game I've purchased since 2016. I got Super Mario Wonder.
Nice.
Never haven't played it. Still trying to decide if I like being the big elephant and all that stuff. It's kind of a departure from what I'm used to with Mario because I'm really old. I had the NES on launch day. That's how old I am. And then,
did you watch The Wizard in the theater, Bacon?
Yes, I did.
There you go. Tanuki suit for the win.
So as far as accessories, I bought the Pro Controller, and I absolutely love the Pro Controller. It is absolutely exceptional. And then I also ordered the D-brand Kill Switch 2 case over 3 weeks ago, and it still hasn't shipped.
What?
My screen protector hasn't shipped. I can't take this thing anywhere. I'm afraid to take it out. I always buy D-brand stuff, and this is taking absurdly long.
Just get a cheap one for the short term, Bacon. I know. Protect that screen.
I'm going to have to because I got a cruise next month, and if I don't have the kill switch by then, I'm going to have to get something. Because
if you were close, I would give you my extras because I got some extras.
So double check on the kill switch. I saw some headlines on YouTube today that the kill switch is having some problems.
Yeah, so everyone tries to with the outrage culture and I got you, and everyone's like picking their switch up by one side of the Joy-Con.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I saw that too.
Like, who picks the entire weight of the switch up?
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. Right. I'm holding it with two hands, baby.
Oh, I don't know. I trust D-brand implicitly, and it's got the cool thing about the kill switch is got that cover that goes over the screen and it puts all your carts in the cover. So it's an actual travel case, and I don't have to carry a big bulky bag or anything with me. So I'm definitely holding out for that. I just wish they'd shipped the damn thing already. It's pretty.
Did you get a memory card?
No, I don't foresee me having that many games loaded. And then as far as like I'm not going to buy Cyberpunk because I have that for my 5090. I'm not going to buy Hogwarts because I have that on my 5090, and I'm only playing games I don't already own, and I'm really searching. I do got to go pick up Breath of the Wild. I'm probably going to play that on my cruise because I need to do that. So I got plans. It's weird to launch a new console with as light of a lineup as they launched this thing with. I think the FOMO got the best of me. I mean, it's a great console. I love the form factor and the size and everything.
What about the price too? Considering maybe the next round comes in, there's tariffs. Who knows?
Yes,
So this might be the
that
cheapest
was
you can get it.
that was one of the things that drove me to get it day one was fear of tariffs. So I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
even if there's anything to play, I'm not going to pay an extra 100 for this thing down the road.
That's why we ended up with two. Was like my wife was like, no, I'll just wait, and it was like, round one's done. This is the price for now, but in the future we can't guarantee anything. And it was like, it's not going to be cheaper. That's for damn sure. Not for a while. And she was like, so if I buy it now or if I buy it a year from now, I'm like, it could be more expensive, if not the exact same damn price. Like, play your Hogwarts Legacy on the go, girl. Like, just let's go. Like, whatever.
Isn't it sad that
too, man?
the days of consoles not getting cheaper the older they are is behind us?
Crazy.
It's so weird.
Yep. So you said you're not worried about running out of space. You got a physical game cart. You said that's your first one. We got a question from Famous Seamus. Said, here's the question. What do you think of the whole key card situation, and how much of Switch 2 games are basically just codes in a plastic case? So the key card situation, I want to clarify this one. Is this the game card that you put physically in your Switch? That's what he's talking about. Not like the Mario Kart World thing where it's like a code on a piece of paper.
No, it's not like It's basically
DRM, though. It's DRM.
It's like every disc that comes on PlayStation or Xbox. Basically,
All right.
Very rarely do you have anything with the whole game anymore. And they do indicate it on the cart with a little key, which is nice. Yeah. But there are very few third party, except for Cyberpunk, I think, that are actually full games. Nintendo does make their games smaller, so they typically will fit on like 32 gigs and below. So I believe all the Nintendo games are full blown carts, whereas like Street Fighter 6, I don't know if you get anything on that card, and then you got to download how big is Street Fighter 6? Like 60 gigs? It's pretty hefty.
Yeah.
But I'll give Cyberpunk.
Not a fan of that.
Yeah, Cyberpunk is. I'm giving them props because it's the whole game, full on board, 64 gigs. You get all the expansions, and apparently it runs as well as Series S does, because I think the DLSS that's involved is doing some magic.
Good. Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah, I saw some digital. I don't know if it was Digital Foundry that did it or it was those types of comparisons, but like. It's looking good. I haven't played it myself because I have it on Series X, but it's if that's the way you want to play this game or you need to play this game, like pick it up. It seems like it's a worthwhile port if you don't have a better, more powerful way to play it, or if you just feel like playing it on the go. But back to Seamus's question, Bacon. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm not. This one's one that really does get to me. It's the one thing that's one of the few things I find that's great about the Switch is having everything self-contained in these little teeny carts, and I don't have to carry these big, my old CD books with freaking 90 CDs in them that I used to have in my Honda Civic. They're small and they stow away. I mean, even the cases are small that they come in. If you're not getting anything on that card, what's the point? Why wouldn't you just buy that game digitally? Yeah. I mean, other than you do have the chance to resell it, and then that's their way of having the DRM, that the check-in, then you can physically sell that back to GameStop. But it's, I don't know. I think it's a little shady, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's the one saving grace for me is having an option to resell games. And if making, I'll play devil's advocate. Imagine that Nintendo is being the best that they can be here. Let's say it costs X amount of dollars to produce a 64 gigabyte card. And if they produced anything more than that, the cost would be significantly passed on to us. So they're offering these key cards as a way of not increasing the price of games even further than they've already increased. And a lot of developers are like hitting that limit or over that limit or whatever. And so many people are patching games and that kind of stuff that, you're going to get a day one patch with these cards anyway. At least they're offering a way that we can resell what is essentially a digital download,
Right.
which or resell or trade, hand off, and they've done that with the virtual game cards as well, but it's a bit of a pain in the ass. Like I could, in theory, get one of these game cards, play it, mail it to Todd or mail it to you. You guys could mail it to each other back to me. Like it allows trading, it allows handing it off to your friends, it allows reselling. Is it as convenient and nice as having a game self-contained on a cart if you're in a stranded on a desert island, or if you're on a cruise or whatever? Great to have that game just there, just in your pocket or whatever. But I think
What are you playing there, Todd?
It's my son.
Yeah,
I said to my wife, "Can you wait?" He just got back from Taekwondo. He's playing his trumpet. He's in college and he's just doing. So sorry, we have a soundtrack apparently in our background. I asked my wife, "Can he play it after, or we're done, or go up in his room?" But I just to let you guys know, I looked. I'm on game, and everybody's Dan will mock me for I'm a GameFly fan, but you know what? Until there's stop making physical games, this is the best way to play PlayStation and Switch games right now for me. Day one, Street Fighter 6. It says right on the website, this is a game key card title. Internet is required. 50 gigabytes of storage space is required for this title. So, Bacon, when you talked about 256 on board, and this is a 50 gig title, wowie wow. Whereas Cyberpunk, they're paying for the whole thing. On a 64 gigabyte card, you don't have to download anything. You can play the game, and that game is already updated. It's not going to get any patches, I assume. So it's good to go. That game can live. I will say what I would like them to do, if they're not going to do the full game key card, they better make a seal case. They better put something in the case with it, like an art book or something to add value, because those express cards are not cheap. I got the on card, which was 34, but the Samsung is $60 for the 256. It goes up, and there's no big storage yet for the Switch. It'll come, but it's going to be really pricey.
Yeah. The nice thing about it being SD card storage rather than something proprietary like an Xbox is that the price of SD cards will eventually drop. They are pricey right now for sure. I just got a 256 to kind of tide me over, and my wife did not get an SD card whatsoever. But yeah, I think for those, I know it's a sticking point, but I like to see at least you can resell a digital game in this case. And that's impossible to do when you just shop from the eShop. So not ideal, but better than not having the option at all if people aren't paying more than 32 gigs. And apparently Nintendo's been kind of really restrictive with who gets a 64 gig card. They've been keeping most of them for themselves. They seem to have given some to CD Projekt Red for Cyberpunk, but I would say Capcom did not have that option. I would say Capcom had that. Nintendo said, if you can fit it on a 32 gig card, great. If not, FO, here's a key card and take it or leave it. This is a digital only game. Do you want people to be able to resell it? And Capcom said, yeah, sure. Give us the damn key card. Like, I think it sounds like that's the situation that a lot of developers are hitting up against. If you can't fit this entire thing on a 32 gig card, because we're keeping the 64s, if you can't do that, here's your option, take it or leave it. So it's even rougher, I think, than it sounds, knowing that there's 64 gig cards out there. But Nintendo
owns the format. This is essentially like Sony being part of the Blu-ray consortium. They get a cut of it. Nintendo owns the supply chain of these cards. It's not like Capcom can go out and source these things. They got to buy them through Nintendo. It's kind of like the old day of the carts. That's why everybody went to CD-ROM, because they're like, they didn't want to pay the Nintendo tax and limit, like Nintendo would limit them. So this is kind of that way. But, digital is finally making it a little easier for those games to go everywhere else. And now we're in the game of physical media. I mean, it's on its dying door. And at this point, I'm hoping we'll still get like those weird, like, what is it, Criterion, that does all of the really cool Blu-rays, 4K editions of really special games. I think Limited Run Games has been doing some of this, but I mean, are they going to run into the problem where Nintendo won't give them or allow them to buy high-end carts? If that's the truth, then yeah, we're pretty much down there. And yeah, it's funny because GameStop even just announced today, or not today, but this week, that basically they're going to move into collectible cards in Pokemon because they know games themselves are kind of that, and we're basically just going to have mom and pop shops that are doing like your hobby shops do this. So yeah. I think it's the future. It sucks because as we know with licenses with Xbox, wanting to do backwards compatibility, if someone doesn't give you a license, as much as you want to do the good stuff, you still can't get that Captain America 360 game on modern consoles because of the stupid license, because it was Sega making a Captain America game. That's why I own a 360, so I can play that stupid game. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it definitely kills like forward compatibility or like even preservation. Like if they shut the store down, like there's nothing on the card, so it's useless. It kills all that. So it's not perfect for sure, but if you want, games are super expensive right now. So if you need to sell a game to buy the next one, this is the next best option, right? Like it's at least allowing you to do that. It's allowing you to trade that in. It might keep GameStop and EB Games going for a little bit longer, or that reseller market, because you can actually sell this stupid little key card. So,
well, it's interesting in Bacon. I don't know if when on the original Switch, they had the vouchers. Nintendo sold, it was $100 for a voucher. For $100, you could get essentially 2 Nintendo first party games, which is a big deal because you saved like $10 each. And then if you went to Costco, you could get Nintendo eShop cards for $90. So you're basically, it was like $45 and I could get 2 games. It was great. It was my way to play that. When you look at now to the vouchers, they're not usable on Switch 2 games, which sucks.
Yeah.
Which is painful because you like hope that they would offer something like that, especially if they want to incent people to buy digitally. So it's going to be frustrating, but I think the big innovation, we can get into kind of like more of the things with Switch and how you guys have experienced it yet, is the sharing of games, which, Nintendo last gen, they wanted you to buy like 4 copies of Mario Kart and things like that. Now with game sharing, it's limited, but still allows you to share games with family members and things, as long as you can validate your Wi-Fi network and things like that, which is cool. It's an easier way to do it, but essentially it's like a real game, because once they steal it from your library digital and they put it on their system, they got 2 weeks to use it and then it goes back like a library card. So I don't know, Bacon, do you have anybody you can share games with?
Not unless I meet up with Chipotle or Dan. Yeah, there's nothing in my...
Go to a Caribou, go on the same Wi-Fi or whatever the coffee shop is, and share some games, come back 2 weeks later.
Maybe. I know Dan traded all his physical games in for digital ones, so.
Didn't even ask you if you wanted to share.
Via game chat. That is possible.
Can you?
Yep. It has to be a Switch 2, I believe, but sharing via game chat is available for some titles.
Huh.
And you don't have to be on the local network, right, Mark? Because I know it's been a challenge.
You can just like the 3 of us could game chat and set up a game chat, and I think I could share like.
Is it only while you're playing it? Like it goes away as soon as you stop playing?
I would imagine so, because I think similar to how Finn and
trial, though.
It's streaming from one console. So let's say if I was sharing, I think the example on Nintendo's website is Mario 3D World. So if I was sharing that and the 3 of us were playing it together, now I don't think, like I said, I don't think you guys could play.
There'd be 2 players, I assume, right? Or no? There's 3 players co-op, right?
Yeah, okay. 2-player co-op. Okay. So if we started a game chat, I fired that game up, I would be essentially broadcasting it over the game chat to you guys, and you guys would be controlling a character essentially on my Switch. So your Switch would become a controller.
It's like It Takes Two or Twisted or what's the game? Split Fiction right now.
Yeah,
I can host somebody to play with me.
You're
Exactly. They join me while I'm playing, and as soon as I kick them out, they're gone. They don't have a copy of the game, but it's a great way to play together. I like that experience.
Yeah, and it's built right into game chat, so you can.
Okay.
That's possible.
Very cool. Okay, well, let's get into this. So we talked about Bacon's story. We talked about Mark and I talked about our stories before. So at this point, some of the features of the Switch that we've tried out. So talking to what Mark talked about, a camera, I did hook up my wife's Logitech Brio. It works. It's very broad. It worked, but actually trying to do game chat, I was going to try to do with Bacon tonight. I got to figure this out. I have to go through like the parental control stuff because my son is on the account. I got to figure the way get him off there. He's an adult now, and Nintendo's a pain in the ass. So, Mark, I would say this right now with Finn's stuff. It's painful to get your kid from like a kid to an adult because it seems like there's a weird way of like even on like the old Xbox and PlayStation, like my son, I allowed him to play older games than he was, so I had to fake his age, so which is a pain in the ass. But yeah, it's painful.
Mine came up with a parental control thing, and it was like, do you want to use your password? And I said yes because I don't want Finn to.
I didn't want to do mine, but it made me. I had to authenticate, put a chat code in, do all this stuff, and I tried to do it, and it wouldn't let me do it. I'm like, maybe I'm doing something different, but it feels like I was encountering too many hurdles as a parent without a young child. So I'll figure that out. But I like the fact that it recognized the camera. I have found out that it will update controllers, even the Pro Controller wirelessly, which is great. I did not know it did that. I know it's done that with other systems. And other than that, I haven't done much more except it reminded me on the Pro Controller that you can now, by game, remap your controls. Versus universally making like your A button is now the B button, which is bad if you do it universally, but allowing you to map your controls by game is amazing because those back buttons are a game changer. I love that they've done it. So I've not done that yet, but I'm going to definitely do it. Like in Tears of the Kingdom, that sprint button is going on one of my triggers because I do not want to push something in, use one of my face buttons to sprint. That is the dumbest thing in the world. Someone change it. So does anybody else, any of the features or weird things in the Switch that you've liked so far?
I haven't even figured out how to program the back buttons on my Switch, on my Pro Controller.
Apparently you do it by game, Bacon.
While you're in the game, hold in the home button. That'll bring up a little menu, and you just scroll down. There's the GL, GR, and you can, when you click on one, you press A on one, and it says press the button you want to map to it. Okay. It's as easy as that, and it saves it for your profile per game. Oh. So if your wife decided to make a profile on the Switch or whatever, whoever else decides to make a profile, it saves it per profile per game. It is super customizable. Nice. and super granular. It's really great. And Todd, to your point, Tears of the Kingdom, instantly GL is my duck button because I hate that having to run and then push in the stick to duck. Pain in the ass.
I have died so many times because of unfortunately pushing in the right stick button. Yeah.
GL is my new duck.
I had to use the I had one of the Power A wireless controllers, which had the back buttons, but it didn't have the amiibo button. So I wanted to bring in my stuff. It didn't allow me. So this is the perfect solution. And thank God, Xbox and PlayStation, please, your base controller better have back buttons as a base function. Please do it because it just seems like if 8-Bit Dough can do it for like $25 or $60, PlayStation, Xbox can do it on their base controllers going forward. So I think the Pro Controller is a big win. Any other features you guys like? I like the fact that you can use a USB keyboard. You can use a USB mouse. I've not tried that yet. And you can also use, like I said, a USB camera.
I used the mouse function for a round of Fortnite. It was fine, but I didn't remap my buttons at all. Ooh. So it was kind of uncomfortable, like trying to still press the face buttons. But the mouse control, the pointing, aiming, and shooting was super responsive, super quick. I was picking off some headshots, but it was just the reload, switch weapons, all that kind of shit was just like, I need to spend some time and actually remap it properly. But using just a regular Joy-Con as the left Joy-Con and then the right one as a mouse, super responsive. It worked. And I 3D printed a mouse holder to make it a little bit more ergonomic.
They're selling those now, which I saw are great as a third party. Sam just reviewed Bacon, you'll love this. It's a mouse that also has a gun. Part of it has a recoil. You can pull the trigger. It's the craziest thing I've ever saw. And I'm like, this is the greatest for like light gun games. But the funny part is it's just like it recoils. It's got LED, but it has like an actual recoil, which I was like really super impressed. But if you get a chance, watch Jam Pack Sam's video on it. I did not know somebody was going to come up with a mouse gun, and it's interesting, but I love it.
They haven't come in yet. But I don't know if you guys have seen this. I think we talked about it in the Discord chat about the possibility of changing out the little side panels on your Joy-Con.
Yes, for color. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Since there are 2 Switch 2s in the house now, that side exactly. And it's the most first world problem I've ever heard. So judge me all you want. But the 2 Switch 2s were on a table the other day, and I just glanced and I was like, damn, which one's mine? Because in the past, my wife and I always had different colored Joy-Cons. So it was very easy at a glance to tell which Switch was which. And so I looked at the Switches and I was like, oh, it can't tell at a glance anymore. That kind of sucks. We've always gotten different versions of the consoles. And so I ordered a pair of these. I don't know which Switch is going to get them. Either mine or my wife's. I don't care if she wants them. Cool. Her Switch is going to be a little bit more colorful, but there are 2 strips. It comes with a tool to pop the current ones out. And apparently the install, I know someone that did it. She said the install is super easy, super quick and painless. And they look great. So I asked where she ordered them from. I got them, shipped right away. And they were super cheap from AliExpress. So
yeah, it's the side panel, right? It pops off.
Exactly. Yeah. It comes with a little tool to kind of just sit in and pop it off. Looks like a Lego, the Lego tool to kind of separate 2 bricks or something. So hopefully by the next episode, I'll be able to talk about what they look like and the experience of swapping them out on either mine or my wife's Switch. But I won't run into that incredibly first world problem anymore. I love how versatile the Switch 2 is with the different webcams. You can plug your podcasting mic into it. If you want to do Switch game chat, you can actually have a microphone plugged in and pulled over to your table if you don't want to be screaming out at your Switch. Of course, it does headsets as well. I haven't tried with my SteelSeries, but someone who owns the same SteelSeries said it works. Because it has a little dongle, the USB dongle. Right now it's plugged into my Xbox and it usually just stays there. But apparently that works as well. It's a very versatile system.
So for myself, I bought this case on Amazon. You can find it. It's called the LU Art. Sorry, hard to see. But a nice feature it has actually is a plug-in. So you can basically charge it through the case itself. It's just got like a little plug, which is nice. Comes with basically a nice just standard travel case, and also comes with some screen protectors, basically your tempered glass. I also got the am film screen protectors, so I got plenty of screen protectors, so good to go. So Bacon, I would say in the short term, get yourself some screen protectors, because it does have a film over the glass to stop shattering, but apparently you can scratch that surface, which sucks.
You watch Jerry Rig everything do the durability test on it?
Oh, that was crazy.
Part of the screen, I thought it actually survived that thing very
did well. Yeah.
I mean, it's durability. Insane durability, but easy to scratch, which is perplexing. I got the same AM film two back screen protectors. So there's one on mine, one on my wife's. Very easy to install. Super easy. So far, I've gotten one travel case that's a very light, super light, like not a protective case at all. It's basically just fabric. But I have one that looks like Mario's overalls on the way.
Nice. Okay.
I can't wait to get that. It's coming with the Joy-Con side things, so
Yeah,
should be fun.
my cheap case actually came with like a silicone like protective case, which I do like the fact that it came with these weird, like my son calls it a Switch Joy-Con condom, but it has a little bump to it. The one case I want, I believe it's called Savage Fox or something like that. It is got some really awesome grips. It's very minimal. It doesn't really protect your system, but it's me. I want more grips until I can get third-party Joy-Cons, but it doesn't block the stand. So many of these cases block the stand, which sucks, especially if you want to take the Joy-Cons off and just play there. So, but that's kind of all I got right now. I'm waiting for more stuff, especially we're going to get much better expansion cards. I got the on one from Walmart for $32, so that's the cheapest way to go. And that apparently it's Lexar rebranded, so not too bad. So find it if you can, but it's been sold out, and they have the 512 card, which is only like $60, which is super cheap. So I guess we'll go from there.
Did you guys also see Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and Force coming to the Switch?
Yes,
and it's a Switch 2 version.
Yes,
that is good. That's good to hear.
$49. Yeah,
I will not be buying it because I'll be playing it on Gampass very badly because I'm not good at those games. But I'm very excited, and I love all of the costumes you get. And if it comes to Nintendo though, because we know Doom Guy is going to be in the Tony Hawk version, shouldn't we at least get like some Nintendo guys in that game, like Mario or Yoshi or Mario?
You're still.
They're not doing something exclusive to Nintendo.
I would love to see. I want lanky ass Waluigi on a skateboard. That is who
that'd
I
be great.
That I think he fits. Yeah, the Switch 2 version does have Doom Guy.
All right, so let's wrap this up with thoughts on the future of Switch 2. Like, what do we want from a software, from like peripherals and games and maybe features? So, Bacon, what are your hopes for Switch 2, considering we're only less than a month in? What do you want Switch to go after and accomplish?
Yeah, I just I had a big problem with the last Switch just because it was so dang underpowered. From what I'm seeing from this one, it seems pretty decently spec. So, and I know we're going to get a lot more because Cyberpunk is running on this thing. So, I just want to see a lot more third party. I basically would take this to work with me on Thursdays when I don't have any work to do. I'm going to play this, and then so I would like to play some games that I don't want to dedicate time on my gaming PC to play. So I just hope that it'll get. And I'm actually surprised going through the eShop about how many games are actually on the Switch. It's almost shocking to me because I didn't own the Switch one very long, just because it was so.
The library is huge and full of trash, unfortunately. So be careful.
So underpowered. And then I was actually really shocked at how snappy the eShop is on this thing.
Yeah.
It felt like the first one lagged like no one's business.
Horrible.
It only got worse.
So I wish that they would have taken a page out of the ROG Ally or even the Steam Deck with giving us some bolstering so I didn't have to buy it myself. As my big fat man hands are just, I cannot hold this thing. That's why the only reason why I bought the Pro controller is because I knew I was going to be waiting for that kill switch for so long. Because I just cannot play this thing in handheld mode. Just my hands cramp and stuff like that. So I thought for sure they would do that on this, but I guess Nintendo can always do their own thing. But as far as accessories go, I think I'm not buying any cardboard. I promise you that. So I actually think it's actually a pretty sweet spot if I'm being completely honest. Just a lot more third-party support. I'd like to see Microsoft really embrace this platform and get all of their games over here. Because if I can go back through the Master Chief Collection on this thing at work, I hate buying games twice, but that's one of the ones I will buy twice, and actually probably three times because I own it on Steam too. So, Microsoft should go full Steam. I imagine Sony's going to go full Steam on this thing and try to get most of their games over here too. So. Yeah. I think the future is definitely bright. It's the most popular console in the world for a reason. So,
let's
absolutely let this thing run.
I am excited to see where they go with software because, with Mario Kart, that was a lacking piece. Do they have are we getting a new Smash? Or are we just getting Smash Deluxe with just basically new, new worlds, new platforms, new characters? Maybe that's enough because they already did Ultimate. I don't know where you go from Ultimate, but maybe just, basically it's map packs, it's new characters, and that's enough. Sell the complete edition for $90 or $80 or whatever, and they're good enough. Or if you already own the game, you get it. You can get the expansion for $30. I don't know if they're going to go for that, but I think I don't know where else you go. If you go smaller, that seems like a step down. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that with Mario Kart World. Like, in some ways, like the news story came out today that they said, why isn't Link? Why aren't they Animal Crossing characters? And they're like, well, there's enough to play with in the Mario world, so like, don't expect characters from other franchises in this game. So like, don't expect the Inklings in Mario Kart World, at least for now, according to the director. Like, so we could see a very different Smash Brothers that's more focused. Like, yeah, we can do Smash Brothers, but we're not inviting anyone else in. Like, you might see like Sonic the Hedgehog, but we're not going to see other characters in. But like, you could see one with maybe a Goomba or a Penguin or something like that from Mario 64. So I wouldn't like count on Nintendo just having a full roster in another Smash Brothers game just because the last one had the ultimate roster. This one could be like pared back and very surprising.
I mean, the games that we know they'll release is a new Animal Crossing. We know we'll get a, let's see, what are the big hitters that we'll probably get? A new 3D Mario game because we haven't got that yet. There will be potentially a new Zelda game. That's not going to be like in the mode we've seen, but the question becomes, is that going to be only a Switch 1, Switch 2 game that's cross-gen? Don't know yet with Nintendo where they stands with how long they'll support the old Switch with, updates. So I guess we'll see from there. But yeah, to your point, Bacon, I really want to see more ports that I'm excited for, and even indies. You don't have to be worried that they're going to play great. I think indies is going to be a great place for Switch. And I'm really excited to see what I've seen with Nixie and Binbach, which Bacon, I don't know if you bought any of the interesting third-party Joy-Cons that are great, almost like a full-on like split Pro controller. I've loved those. I wish Nintendo would make them, but they aren't. So we're going to get some third parties that make them, and they've been really good. It basically fixes it. It's kind of like what the ROG Ally Xbox Ally X is doing with basically making them basically a Xbox controller and sides. I wish I had mine here to show you, but I expect those to come out too, and they'll fix your problem with taking your Switch on the go.
Yeah, for sure. Once this thing's in the hands of, I'll say developers, but I mean like game developers, sounds like they didn't have enough dev kits to go around, but also like manufacturers, like accessory manufacturers. I think we're going to see some fun stuff, especially where this is, like Bacon said, the fastest selling console of all time right now. I think that popularity is going to continue to grow. Stuff that I want to see though, the system is so snappy. I want to see a little bit more in the system settings. I want to see some more, like, give us some customizable backgrounds. Give us some more than just black and white, light mode, dark mode. Like, give us a little bit of personality. Let us play with some stuff that way. This has been the same since the Switch launch. Basically, we got dark mode a year or two later, and it's been the same for like 6 years. Or 7 years, I don't know, whatever. Let's have some fun with it. Let's dress it up. Even if they started off with the same kind of thing that's in the Nintendo Today app, so like you can pick from Splatoon, Animal Crossing, Pikmin, Mario, Zelda. Like, cool, awesome. Donkey Kong, throw that in because there's a new game. I think that'd be super fun, and just clearly the Switch 2's got enough power to handle at least a light coat of paint to make things a little bit more personal, a little bit more poppy. because you look at the dashboards for like Xbox just released some stuff today that
those
they're making
cool backgrounds they do that are
backgrounds and
interactive,
allowing you to
sounds. Yeah.
there's so much stuff that you can do, right? Like I think it's a perfect time to do that because everything else is so snappy. The eShop, like you mentioned, it's a perfect time to do that.
Yeah, I have Wallpaper Engine on my PC, and I don't know if anybody else has it. I love it to pieces. I've got like cool Mario going on this side. I've got like Mass Effect with things in the background. It seems like that's not killing the system, and it could obviously turn that off as soon as you start a game. So there's ways to really add personality to the system. I mean, even the Steam Deck, your personalized load up when it starts off. And Bacon, do they do with Rug Ally? You can like change your startup so it's like a cool like logo or something, or is it still pretty static?
I've never even thought about doing that.
Okay. The Steam Deck does it. It's very cool. But yeah, I love everybody wants their personality to be reflected in their device. Okay. Last question. What game that's not announced now would you love to see on Switch 2? Bacon?
Actually, I'm going to go with Master Chief Collection.
It's a great answer.
That would
Damn,
sell so many copies.
Yeah.
The existing version where it's only like what, through 3 or 4?
1 through 4.
Okay, that's a good fit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Great answer. I would love to say, I think I said this last time, I would love to say the Gears of War remastered that's coming. They just announced coming to PlayStation.
Yeah, Reloaded.
Deal out of it, Reloaded. I don't know if they will downscale that to the Switch 2. So realistically, I'm going to say Sea of Thieves.
Oh, that would sell like hotcakes.
Yep.
It's a good fix. I want the Ratchet and Clank collection on Switch. I don't know what that is because obviously they've gone from the PS2 all the way to the PS5. But if you could do a collection of those games, I think those are so perfect for the Nintendo audience because it's one of my favorite series and it just fits Nintendo to a T. So I hope that comes out. I mean, other than that, though, from we haven't even talked about like the GameCube eShop. I still want Eternal Darkness on the Nintendo GameCube service because that game deserves to come out and get some love.
And we also remember that Microsoft promised that Call of Duty will be on this thing. So
that's right. Yep. Is it going to be like Bacon? Do you think it's going to be like the next Call of Duty like this fall, or do you think it's going to be more of like the old Heritage Ghost and things like that?
I don't see why it wouldn't be the newest one. I don't know how much they'd have to dumb the thing down, but if Fortnite plays on this, why can't the Call of Duty play on it?
That's it, man. And like with Microsoft scaling things, seemingly, I would imagine, I haven't had one myself or anything, but like seemingly to get on the ROG Ally Xbox, if it's not streaming and their games are going to play natively on that device, how much of a jump power-wise is that from the Switch 2? So it's a more expensive system. I imagine it's more powerful, but DLSS
does a lot of work that FSR can't.
Like, is it scalable?
Do a lot of heavy lifting for sure.
Yeah,
I had Call of Duty, the last one on my ROG Ally, and it was awesome. Like, I had no problems. And I even streamed it on the cloud. So
it still works on PS4 and Xbox One. So it's still going to work on those systems. So apparently this is close to Series S territory. So it's a no-brainer that any of those CODs couldn't come forward. What about Warzone?
Microsoft's going to print money on this thing.
What about mobile Warzone? Is that a possibility too?
I don't know why you'd need it to be mobile Warzone. Why wouldn't it just be standard?
Okay, well, if it works,
Other than the install file is like 200 something gigs. So.
It comes with an Express SD card.
It's a big boy, so
Call
of Duty is not fitting on any card. So I know.
Well, that's what it is. It's basically you get the box, but it also comes with an SD card. Yeah, rather than actually a card, it's just the SD card for 256 gigabytes. And it just says for Call of Duty only.
Take every other game out of your system, put this SD card in.
Maybe that's what we get future. Like the SD cards are actually what you get shipped. And it's just there's individual SD cards because they're so damn big. All right. All right. Any last thoughts?
No. This is
all right.
Great system so far. Only room to improve, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a smooth launch seems like everybody who wants one can get one, which is great, or everybody's going to get there. And then this fall, it's going to go to the wide public, which is great. I'm glad they repeated what they did with the Switch because satisfy the hardcore and then let the mainstream get those games and those systems, and it'll be a good fit. So, well, thank you so much, Bacon, for joining us. It was great to have you on. I love seeing you outside talking about things beyond just the Xbox and the PC. So this is very cool.
Yeah. Only console I own.
So tell people where they can find you.
You can find me every Thursday night on our little show. I'm sure most of your viewers already watch our show on the Nerd Chat Thursday nights at 7 o'clock Mountain, 7:30 Mountain. That sounds right. Then you can find me on Twitter and all your gaming platforms at Xbacongamn. And that was fun, gentlemen. Thanks for having me. Let's do it again.
Yeah. Absolutely. Folks, subscribe to the Nerd Chat YouTube channel because we want to see Dan eat, what is it, 25 quarter pounders with cheese?
Dan,
Ainsley
Bowden from Season Gaming, and Eric Game Positive are all three going to eat 8 Junior Bacon cheeseburgers on an episode when we reach 500 subscribers. So we're only about 70 away from that, something like that. So...
God, sounds like you might be calling an ambulance for somebody. Thanks, Bacon.
They're all finely tuned athletes, sir. That's
true. Dan's 6-pack is going down to a 4-pack as we speak, but we need to get him back into shape. And he can still apparently beat WNBA teams. So we'll go for that. That's what he says. All right, Mark. Tell people where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me on most platforms. Canardian_Jedi, or always hanging out in our Discord group.
Excellent. And you can follow me at Todd Oxtra, at Secret Friends Unite on the Blue Sky, at T Oxtra, at Secret Friends Unite on the Threads, Instagram, and Facebook. So thanks, gentlemen. This has been so much fun. It's awesome to talk about a new console launch. We'll probably be talking about this again in maybe 2 years, and then maybe 3 years later with the Xbox and PlayStation. But with that, we say enjoy your gaming. It's always better to game together.
All right.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.